The NFL, and you may not know this, Kyle, but I'm going to give you some education now, is the most difficult league for any working journalist to cover. It's not even close. Iggy, you can jump in if you want, but let me just say a few things. When I was working, if I wanted to talk to Brian Sabian, let's say, I was at the ballpark, I would say to the PR guy, I'd like to talk to Brian. Come back in a minute and say, go to his private box. You know where his private box is. I'd go, Sabian would be there and say, hi, do you want a Coke? What do you? And we'd sit down for several innings. I'd ask him all my questions on the record and off the record because he understood the importance of journalism. When I wanted to talk to Larry Baer, he would come up to the press box. I'd get word, he'd come up, Lowell, what do you need? We'd find a private place in the press box. When I wanted to talk to Joe Lacob, I called him up. Listen, when I wanted to talk to Mark Davis, I called him up. Lowell, what do you need? This is how mature people do business. Now, Mark Davis is an exception to what I'm experiencing in the NFL and with the Niners. With the Niners, if you want to talk to somebody like Shanahan, who's never given Iggy a one-on-one, and he should, and if I were there, I would ask, and he probably wouldn't give me, and he should. If you want to talk to him, it's like trying to get in to the FBI or to the Pentagon. What the hell is so secret about the NFL that they are an anti-media league?
They are.
When I one time went and interviewed Harbaugh when he first came in, a flack, and a flack is a synonym for a PR guy. Mm-hmm. This flack sat in Harbaugh's office with me as if I were a danger to Jim Harbaugh. What, I was going to beat him up? He could have blown on me and I'd gone out the window.
No, it's also condescending to Harbaugh, as if he can't be trusted with his own words. He needs an editor right there who's like 29 years old. And you know what I mean? Like, get out of here. Go sit in the hallway. Yeah.
In addition, I knew Harbaugh better than this flack.
Yeah.
I knew him better. I knew Harbaugh for years. What's more, I had been in that office many times in my life. I didn't need some flack holding Harbaugh's hand and monitoring my conversation. In addition, there were things I wanted to ask Harbaugh off the record.
Yep.
I couldn't with this person, this operative there. He changed the nature of what was going on. How did he know that Harbaugh wouldn't want to answer my off-the-record questions? Harbaugh and I had a relationship going back many years. Iggy, it pissed me off. And I still, as I talk about it, it makes me angry. And if that PR department was not allowing you to talk, that's akin to what they did to me. And it's not right. It's not the right thing to do. And it's not right. And it's not professional. Now, hold on.
I want to tell you a story real quick, and then you can get on to your next thing because it goes with this. Yeah. Last year, when I interviewed John Lynch one-on-one, we did it on Periscope. He agreed. Did I go through the PR staff? Hell no. If I had asked the PR staff, they would have said, no. Gee, Grant, sorry, Grant. What you do is you go right up to John Lynch as he's coming off the practice field. You say, John, can I interview you one-on-one on Periscope? He says, yeah, I have no idea what Periscope is. Let's do it, because he's a real man. So we do the whole thing. He gives me 10 minutes of his time. It's fantastic. Of course, the PR guy's there the whole time watching because you can't trust John Lynch to talk. I mean, who is John Lynch?
He's a Stanford graduate, right?
Right. You got to be there to have but the best part is after we're done, John Lynch stands up and says, okay, I'd like you to leave now. I want to talk to Grant one-on-one.
Great.
I loved it. And, you know, he had some serious things he wanted to talk about with me, and I'm not going to say what they were, but he didn't want that guy there, and I loved him for it.
Yes. Oh, Iggy, I didn't know that. I love him for it too. And that's how a team GM operates. You know, Brian Sabian never had someone in, hold my hand while I'm talking to Lowell. Give me a break. And Brian Sabian would talk about players, their families. I mean, everything.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to get into the bigger point now, and I got my piece of paper here.
Okay.
Now I want to talk about the media and sports.
Okay.
Some of you watching say, why is Lowell making such a big deal about this. He's got such an ego. Who the hell cares about the media? The media is a pain in the neck. Who cares? And who cares how they get treated by a mere flack at a team? Who cares? Well, let me tell you something about the media. I'm talking about newspapers, radio, TV, and blogging, and whatever the hell else you can think about. We are the vehicles through which these major sports leagues reach the world. If we weren't around, you wouldn't know about Tim Lincecum. You wouldn't know about Jimmy Garoppolo. You would hardly know about them. People who are smart, who have wisdom. I'm going to come back. Bill Walsh, Dennis Erickson, Mariucci, Robert Saleh, grown-ups, people who have wisdom and intelligence, understand that it's in their interest to tell their story, to get it out there and to promote their league. It is narrow-minded people, insecure people like certain PR people around the NFL who are hurting the league. It used to be the most media-friendly league. Now it's clearly the least media-friendly league. And I'm going to say something else. For the Niners and the Dallas Cowboys and the New York Giants and the Green Bay Packers, if there were no media, a team like the Niners would be playing in Salinas.
Yep.
It would be a semi-pro team in Salinas. And without the media, the NFL would be a beer league.
Yes.
A beer team league. And so would Major League Baseball, and so would the NBA. But I want to say the NBA is phenomenal. The NBA is phenomenal in getting you together with their important people.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but it feels like the NFL's attitude is that they're so popular, media organizations will cover them no matter how ridiculous the restrictions are.
I would say absolutely. And yes, and their attitude is because we're so popular, screw you. Screw
Go
you.
cover basketball. Go cover baseball if you don't like it so much, because they'd love to have media at baseball games. They would. Please cover us. The NFL's attitude is, yeah, write about us, but don't come to our facility, ask us any questions, but write about us, please.
And don't watch practice.
Don't watch practice. Don't criticize us, but write every single day exactly what we want you to write.
Right. They want to control the narrative.
Yep.
And I got along with certain regimes at the 49ers and certain PR staffs, and I didn't get along with others because, like you, Iggy, I write my own goddamn narrative.
That's right.
I'm not interested in your narrative. You could tell it to me, but
yeah.
I'm not there to please you. And if you don't like my narrative, screw you.
And real quick, a history lesson. When you were coming up when you were getting started in sports journalism, football wasn't king in 1979. It was baseball.
Okay.
It was baseball and boxing, right?
Oh, yes.
Yes.
And horse racing.
And horse racing. So the way that football became king was by opening itself up and inviting the media in. That was Pete Rozelle, right?
Pete Rozelle was from USF. He was a PR guy. He was a media genius and a very nice man. I never met him, but everybody told me. And what Ira Miller used to tell me, come, whatever you need, watch practice, whatever you need. We want you to feel you're part of our enterprise. Now they've turned that on its tush. And
Rozelle's attitude was, look, there's 53 players on a team. They're anonymous. Come learn who they are and write their story. They're wearing helmets. Show their face to the world. The game is complicated. Come watch practice and learn it. Now it's like, stay away, learn the game on your own, write the stuff that we want you to write. It stinks. And the main reason that football is king is because of what Pete Rozelle did. And if they continue with this style of marketing and PR, they're going to fall behind another league eventually.
Yes, especially with their concussion problems.
Yes. They're going to fall behind basketball eventually is what's going to happen.
I agree. I'm going to tell you something else. Something that really used to annoy me when I used to, hear about Niners media availability, say, you can come and watch the players stretching. And then after that, you have to leave the field. What do I want to watch the players stretching? What do I care?
Yeah,
I could do
So you can take attendance and see who's there and who's not. That's it.
That's it.
And a lot of guys do it, Dad.
Fine, I understand the virtue of. I'm not putting media guys down.
No.
I understand it's important to take attendance. Then you have questions to ask, but you'd also like to see practice. I mean, come on.
Good question from Mr. Vegemite, our number one fan in Australia. He says, will locker room access ever come back now? Dad, what do you think?
Okay, here's what I think. We're just talking about the NFL for a moment. I have my doubts, Iggy. I have my doubts. I think they're going to say, I think it's possible they're going to say, this worked really well. There's no need for you to come down during the week. We'll just do Zoom and we'll give you the players we want. It's not like you're going to go in the locker room and go up to anybody you want. We'll give you 2 or 3 players that we feel we'd like you to talk to. And I say there's a 60-40 chance that's how it's going to be.
It's 100% chance, Dad. We're never getting back in that locker room. Once they take access away, they don't give it back. It's over.
You say it's 100%.
And they're going to say what you said. 1, it was really convenient. Didn't you like it? Because we liked it. 2, it's a safety issue. It's a safety issue. You know what I mean? We still got COVID running around. I mean, until we have that eradicated from the earth, they're going to fight. It's a public safety issue. Sorry, no, you can't come back in. Maybe next year. It's not going to happen.
That makes me very sad.
Yeah.
And it makes me glad I'm out of the business.
Yeah. Really, Dad, I've had the best year ever covering this team, and I've done 99% of it from my bedroom. I'm in my bedroom right now. Behind this is my closet. Over there is my bed. And really, no one has better coverage than me. I'm 40 miles away from the. It's a joke. It's a joke. But what options do I have, Dad?
Well, you have your living room. How come you're not in your living room?
Well, because my wife is here sometimes. And I don't want to relegate her to the bedroom, so I'm stuck in my little hole, and she can walk around. Although she's not here, she's at work. It's just, I don't know. I like it here.
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, you're in your bed. I'm in my office downstairs.
Everett Kramer just sent us a $30.
Ev, I love you, Ev.
Yeah, you're the greatest, Ev. The Cohns are the Jedi rebellion of the NFL football wars empire. Yes, we are Obi-Wan Kenobi and Luke Skywalker going against the Death Star. The NFL is the Death Star.
I want to say one other thing. If Ira Miller were still here with us, I don't mean he died. He's near Chicago, but we covered the Niners together in the 5 Super Bowls. He would have been more insistent and more aggressive than Iggy and me. He was really something. And I felt that certain players were really maybe even intimidated by Ira. And when Ira and I talk about it.
I'm intimidated by Ira.
You're intimidated, right?
That guy, I've never seen someone enjoy confrontation more than him. And that includes you. He likes it more than you do, and you love it. Can I tell my Ira Miller story real quick?
Is it the one about the hotel?
Yes, it's my favorite story.
Okay.
And then
tell it.
Then there's a couple of breaking news things that I'd like to talk about real quick.
Okay, but it's the hotel story, right?
So we're going to address Takk McKinley. We're going to address Javon Kinlaw. Hold on, guys. But this is the Ira Miller story. Okay, 2011, my first road trip. This was back when I was making $1,000 a month at the PD, and my dad would pay for me to come on the road for him because he was lonely. And we had a good time. So we fly to Washington. It's like Maryland. No, it's Virginia. We're staying in like freaking Virginia. And we're meeting up with Ira for dinner because he's retired, but he still likes to do the road trips. And he heard you were coming. So he's like, hey, look, I'll fly in from Chicago. Let's do it. So we get to I'm 23. I've never done this before. I didn't know what to expect. We get to the hotel. Ira's walking down. He comes down, not the elevator, but the staircase. And he's got this big smile on his face. So the smile was confusing and the staircase was confusing. And you say, hey, Ira, why are you walking down the stairs? And he goes, with the biggest smile, he goes, oh, elevator's broken. Elevator's broken. I had to walk down 15 flights of stairs and I'm sick. And it was like the greatest news ever. And you were like, well, why is that good? He said, well, I get to complain now. Watch this. And he walked over with this real nice smile. And there was a young man at the front desk. And he said, what can I do for you? Thinking that Ira's going to be happy with that smile. And he goes, oh, I'd like to speak to your manager. And I go, oh, okay. He was like Christmas for him. I was like, oh, I get to complain? I get to talk to the manager? I had so much because at 23,
it was more.
Tell me more.
He would have demands. He would say, I want a free night and I want 50,000 points.
Yes.
He didn't just want to complain.
No.
He wanted to make out. So he, would say, look, I'm a gold or whatever kind of card holder I am for life, and titanium. I'm titanium for life. I'm sick and I had to walk down. I want a free night and I want 50,000 points. And the guy went, yes.
Of course. And you get it.
And he was in such a good mood all that night.
And that is the old school true journalist, the kind of guy who wants to create problems, not the kind of guy who wants to go with the flow. What I've noticed is modern beat writers want to go with the flow. They want to be cool with the team. They want to be cool with the athletes. Not Ira. Ira, nah. He'll set the rules. You'll come to him. I loved it.
Well, I'll give you, I think I've told you before, I'll give you one other Ira story. I was in the locker room and we used to talk to Brent Jones. Brent Jones he can't help but be friendly. So it was lunchtime. All the players, Ronnie Lott, it was all the players were there and we were just either sitting or hanging. I think we were sitting in chairs and and Brent was in his locker room. We were just chatting and Jerry Rice was pissed about something. And he comes and stands about 10 feet away from Ira and he goes, Ira, I want to talk to you, like that. And Ira looks up and he says, Jerry, can you see that I'm talking to Brent now? He says, when I'm done with Brent, I'll come and talk to you.
And Jerry's like, okay, that's a good point.
And he goes, oh, all right. All right.
Yeah, all right.
When I'm done with Brent, I'll go talk to you.
Real quick, Sean Shepard just gave us a $10 tip. Thank you so much, Sean. You're always so generous. Did the PR?
I never get any of these tips, but okay.
True. Did the PR interview process change after Chris Culliver? Remember, he said that no sweet stuff in the locker room at the Super Bowl when asked if there were any. Anyway, you guys are just reporting what used to be. Everyone wants to be so non-offensive. They don't want the truth. I appreciate it. No, this is a phenomenon that started before Chris Culliver. It started with Jim Harbaugh. We like Jim Harbaugh, but practices were open to the media until Jim Harbaugh got there. And I remember on the first day that they shut down practice, Matt Mayoko walked over to Jim Harbaugh in front of all of us as the senior beat writer and said, Jim, practices have been open since Bill Walsh has been the coach. They've never closed practices. Please reconsider this. And Jim actually said, well, maybe that's the reason why you guys haven't been winning much. Not going to change it. Maybe that's the reason why you guys haven't been winning much. He actually said that. So again, once you lose access, it never comes back. And it started before that. And I don't know where it comes from, but it seems to me that ever since Bill Belichick became the greatest coach of all time,
I agree.
It's a copycat game, a copycat league, and he's notorious for allegedly using espionage. So I think a lot of teams have looked at it as like, well, we got to shut down. We don't know, and we got to be like him. So I don't know. I think really Bill Belichick has done irreparable harm to the league. And
I agree.
Two of the most important people in league history, Bill Belichick, Al Davis, will have a negative impact on it and a negative legacy as opposed to Bill Walsh.
Al Davis sued the league.
Al Davis sued the freaking league.
Yeah.
Sorry, Al.